Hello, I'm SIANEZ. I'm your police chief here in the city of Buena Park. And I want to make sure I keep you updated on things that your Buena Park Police Department is doing to make sure that we continue to provide the highest level of service to you as community members. So recently, over the past 3 years, your police department has been going through an accreditation process. And this accreditation process is through CALEA. And CALEA stands for Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. It's a national recognized accreditation process that only a few agencies in the country have been able to be accredited through this process. Back in 2013, June of 2013, a couple years after I'd become chief here, I wanted to make sure that our department was doing what they were supposed to be doing and was following best practices and best standards. So I did some research into CALEA and went to the City Council and asked them to approve us moving forward with the accreditation process through CALEA. So since June of 2013, we have been going through what they call a self-assessment process here at the police department with CALEA. And that means that there's over 400 standards that CALEA requires police departments to have, and we have to make sure that our current policies and procedures match those standards. And it's quite a egregious process to go through because we have to change a lot of our policies and procedures. And so we've just recently done that, and we've had what they call an on-site inspection. And that on-site inspection is where we have two objective outside CALEA accreditors come into our police department and take a look at our entire operation, our buildings, our policies and procedures, and what they do is they make sure that we are meeting their standards. And I'm happy to say that just a couple weeks ago we went through that process and we pretty much got a thumbs up that everything was good. There were no issues whatsoever, and we are looking forward to going to a conference, a CALEA conference in Baltimore, Maryland at the end of July to receive our accreditation. Now this is a huge, huge accomplishment for our police department. And it's not saying that we were very good. We were a great police department, but there's always room to improve. And it's always good when you have somebody from the outside come in and take a look at what we're doing, making sure that we're doing it right and that we're meeting those high standards that you as community members expect from us. So sometime after the end of July, we will hopefully receive accreditation through CALEA. And I know that the City Council is looking at doing some kind of celebration to recognize the police department for that great accomplishment. And you know, the credit goes to the men and women here at the police department who day in and day out just do a phenomenal job to provide public safety service to this community. And there's a couple of individuals in our department that were assigned as accreditation managers that really put out a lot of effort and really pushed the organization to make sure that they met the timelines that CALEA requires for us to get this all done. But I'm happy to say that July will be the time we will receive accreditation, and I'm really, really excited about it. So you should be excited about it because your kids, your children go to accredited schools. And I always say, why wouldn't you want your police department to be accredited? You know, why wouldn't you want them to meet the highest standards and follow the best practices, national best practices in this nation? Because I believe we should, and we do. And so I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of our department. I'm really proud of the men and women here. And I'm looking forward to after July to be an accredited agency. So I will keep you up to date. And in my next Chief's Corner, I hope to give you a little bit of follow-up on whether or not we received accreditation. I'm very confident that we will. And then we'll have another topic to talk to you about. So thank you very much and be safe.
Hello and welcome to Crime Watch. I'm Jane Cameron with Sergeant Brett Carter of the Buena Park Police Department. Sergeant Carter, you brought us out to Boiserank Park. It's Memorial Day. There are a lot of families here at the park today.
Absolutely. We have quite a few good-sized parks here in the city, and they get used very, very often. Weekends are always busy. Holidays are extremely busy. And it's still fairly early in the day. People are still coming, but as you can see, there's a lot of cars and a lot of families out here.
Now, everyone is enjoying themselves, but there is sometimes a downside to activities like this, especially out in the open in the park and other areas. What kind of concerns does the Buena Park Police Department have?
Well, we want to make sure that everyone who's using the parks is doing so safely. Oftentimes we'll have people come out here with alcohol, be drinking alcohol and not act responsibly. People drive vehicles in the park sometimes to load or unload for a picnic. That too can be dangerous because you have a lot of small children running around. So we ask people when they come out to the parks, be responsible, think before you start acting. Don't consume any alcohol or bring any alcohol to the parks. That's a recipe for disaster.
With the amount of people that may be in a park, any special concerns that the police department might have? Because, you know, a few people getting out of control is one thing, but when you have a lot of people, different concerns?
Yeah, anytime you have large groups of people, the potential for unruliness is always there. In the recent week, this past week, we had several events in the county and in the city where there were large gatherings of people. That's when the police department's training in mutual aid, which is other departments being available to help when manpower needed, are things that we think about, practice. Those are the kind of concerns we have to be paying attention to.
The Trump rally was just last week. What kind of event planning went on with something like that? You know, because it was a large group with, you know, seeing across the nation, there were outbursts by the crowd as well.
That's true. When we have events like that, especially that are people who are that large in the public eye, there are very unique concerns, not only for their safety, but for the safety of the people who attend these events, people at the city or the actual location where they hold the event. Through our mutual aid agreement, which is multiple agencies throughout the county practicing to assist each other with a unified method of enforcement, we make determinations on whether or not we have enough resources in our city to handle a particular event. If we think that it's going to require more than what we have, then we will contact other agencies and let them know that we may be needing some mutual aid to prepare, and we tell them what we think we might need.
Is there any challenge having all those different agencies into one area, that everybody has a different marching order, everybody does things a little bit differently?
Well, that's where in Orange County, we're very, very fortunate. We have a unified system that we use when it comes to crowd control. Every agency practices individually, but we also practice together. So in the event of in the need of a large event for many, many officers, when officers show up from a particular agency, it doesn't matter what agency they belong to. The orders coming and how we're going to perform is identical to what we've practiced in our own agency.
On large events, do you dump all the officers at the event before it starts, or do you do a trickle effect and scale up when the event starts getting out of control?
Both. It really depends on the event. Some of your larger events, we may have officers that are dedicated for that event and are already there before the event takes place. Then again, we'll hold officers in reserve, so if they're needed, we can give the signal or the request, and those officers will go to a predetermined meeting place where they can take their orders.
Buena Park, I assume, was in Anaheim at the Trump rally?
Yes, we were. We sent a contingent of officers to assist.
What other agencies were there? Since it was in Anaheim, we had Anaheim, right?
Yeah, you have Anaheim, there was Buena Park, the Sheriff's Department, I believe, was there. I'm not sure what other agencies were there. I was more concerned with what we had here because even when we send officers there, we still have other concerns in our city. We need to make sure we have enough officers to maintain safety for the residents of the city of Buena Park.
Have there been any recent events in the city of Buena Park where there was a potential for mutual aid?
As a matter of fact, we're going to be driving down to the local grocers union, and we're going to take a look at the facility where Hillary Clinton was here. The day of the Trump rally in Anaheim, we also had to concern ourselves with needs for security and crowd control here in the city of Buena Park at the UFCW Hall. We just got a call of a theft that just occurred at the the Orchard Supply Hardware.
Which is what we just drove by.
We just drove by it, and it said that someone grabbed a phone out of a vehicle and took off in another vehicle, unknown direction, down on La Palma. So we're going to see if we can boogie on down to La Palma and locate the vehicle that's listed. Hi, which way did the car go?
It went that way.
And did he make a right turn?
I just tracked it there on Holt and Beach.
Okay, it's where?
Holt and Beach. I don't
It
know.
says right now.
Holt and Beach?
H-O-L-T.
Show the phone.
You got GPS capability
I don't know if it
tracking
went
on
left or right because I was sitting in the car and I just freaked out and ran out of the car because he was in the front and I thought he was going to try to stay in the car.
40 and
Like, we
25.
didn't sit down.
This is not in Houston. Second half rotation.
There's an officer who's coming here. I'm going to put out the location and the direction of travel here real
Still
quick.
showing maybe that you are. You see, it's right. Oh no, they're going forward. Now they're.
They're going north on Beach, yeah?
I can't get her on 1021.
Beach Boulevard, Holt. Yeah. That street, what is that?
Franklin?
Franklin? Sam 2?
It's a red truck. Did you get the license plate?
Yeah. I'm at Osh. They're tracking the phone. The phone is now moving north down on Beach Boulevard at the area of Holt, approaching Franklin. We have a unit in the north end. Might be able to catch up to it.
Was there something on the front? Because he was doing something with the front. I didn't go back in the
21 or 26
Okay,
is right.
you can check it.
21
Must be traffic there because he's not moving.
Either that or they threw out the window. I don't know. Maybe. It looks like it's there for some time.
All right, I have a unit that's in that area, so are they still sitting there?
Yeah.
Sam 2. It's still showing that they're at Beach and Holt. They may be stuck at a backed up light at Franklin.
At Holt. They're actually closer to Holt.
Yeah, which means they're probably stopped for a backed up
Yeah.
light. Okay, so what we've done is we've gone to the OSH, the Orchard Supply Hardware, and we talked to the person who had their phone stolen. And they did a My iPhone app, and it gave us a location of where the phone might be, the direction of travel. And that actually helped out because their last prescription was in a completely different area, a completely different direction. So we have officers checking the last known location of that cell phone, and we have a description of the vehicle and a possible plate on the vehicle. So if officers are able to get there in time, we may be able to locate the phone, the vehicle, the person who took the phone. So this may work out really well.
Now, what's interesting about this is that her friend or relative with her had a phone, so they could do all this Find My Phone, because otherwise their phone's gone.
That's true. That's true. It's nice to have people who are willing to help out. There were several people here who are willing to help out, give some information, let them use a phone, and see if we have video on this, because this happened at a store that has some video, so they may have that.
Sam 2.
Go ahead.
2, any update on the location?
Negative. I've left the OSH. It was showing that it was going northbound at Holt, approaching Franklin. And it looked like it was sitting there for a little bit.
10
21 on 97 there area.
sidewalk, because if I'm not mistaken, there's a bus bench right here.
40, I'm going to speak to my mom. If I get there, I'll give you an update.
I'm gonna head back. Yeah, I'm not gonna get this guy there. I can go back and keep an eye on the phone.
We're back at the store. There's enough officers that are at the location where the phone was seen. Sergeant Carter is going in with the store manager now and is looking at the videotape. They have confirmed that they got the car on the video, and so he's taking a look at it. Now, some of you may think an iPhone is just, yeah, they're expensive, but how many of you lock it? How many of you have passwords and can access bank information and so forth without unlocking the phone? So depending upon what you have on your phone, it could be very valuable for all the destruction that they could do with it once they have that knowledge.
Copy 26. 757, I'm with.
So what did you find out from the store manager?
Okay, well, I went inside and the manager had some very good high quality video in the parking lot, and it showed exactly what the victim described. It showed the vehicle, was able to verify the license plate, their occupants in the vehicle, and it showed the entire crime. It showed them going up to the vehicle, taking the cell phone, getting in the car, and taking off. With a license plate, that gives us something fantastic to work. That's a fantastic lead because registration will tell you who it's registered to, what address it's registered to, and it allows us to follow up on that kind of stuff.
Now, when you were going into the store, I was talking to the audience about the fact that, yeah, a phone is expensive, but it's also what's on the phone, too. If you don't lock your phone, you could have bank information, credit card information, your home address, all sorts of things. So what is the, explain what the elevation of the attention by the Buena Park Police Department is on this crime. What exactly is it in your mind?
Well, you actually hit it right on the head. We are in the digital age. Everything we have, everything we do, all of our passwords, account numbers, all of that is mixed together and generally kept either on our computer, our laptop, our tablet, or our phone. So when a phone or a laptop or tablet are taken, it's much more than just a phone. For many people, that's their entire life. They have birthdays, they have account numbers, they have all the things that are important to them and help their day-to-day life move smoothly. It opens them up to identity theft. It opens them up to different types of fraud. It can make a wreck of your credit if someone gets a hold of that information. And we're finding that the identity theft is a more common crime, and it's costing us multi-millions of dollars every year.
So what do you think is going to happen with all of this?
Well, it's the Buena Park Police Department. We're going to find the bad guy and put him in jail.
It's devastating when you lose your phone. You could see the shell shock on her face. I mean, that's your stuff that got taken away. And who would think, sitting in your car in a relatively quiet parking lot, that something like this would happen?
Absolutely. That's pretty bold. We see things happen in the city all the time. As a police officer being here many years, I see things and sometimes it becomes, old hat. However, there's always something new that goes on, some new level of brashness that happens. And this one here, it's a very good example of why it's so important to have passwords, protect your phone, protect your computers, because all that information is simply ones and zeros.
And it's also about just making sure and aware of where you are. That, you may think you're safe, but you still have to take those precautions to make sure you're safe.
Absolutely. This is a very nice shopping place. The building is very nice. It's a very secure, safe area, but it just goes to show you never know when you can be a victim or how you can be a victim. As a police officer, it's kind of second nature for me to have my head on a swivel. Most people let their guard down because they don't come across the things that police officers do. But in our society where we live now, you can be the victim of a crime anywhere. I'm not saying that we need to be paranoid about it. You just need to be aware of it so that you can take precautions. Remind yourself, where am I? Where's a phone that I can contact? Are there people in this area? How well lit is this area? Be aware of those things that will set you up to be secure and not allow you to be a victim.
Okay, so we're now coming up on the location where Hillary Clinton spoke last week.
Yes, this is the UFCW Hall, Local 324. She was doing speeches at some of the union halls in the country, talking to some of the workers there, and she chose this one as one of her stops. And last week when the Trump rally was going on, we had officers not only there and covering the city, but we also had to have a contingent of officers here just in case anything happened here. Again, when you have large crowds of people gathering, you need to be ready for the potential for anything to happen.
Does it make any difference that the Secret Service was here and maybe other, federal governmental agencies?
Not really. When you're talking about the Secret Service, you're talking about a detail of officers that are specifically there to protect a person, an individual. The police department, we're going to protect everyone. If there was a protest outside, we would protect the protesters. We would protect the people inside. We would protect people walking by, driving by. We have to provide an omnipresence. We have to be everywhere, inside, outside, all around.
Did Buena Park need officers from other agencies for this event, or were you able to pull in the officers and handle it?
No, we were able to staff this event with officers from Buena Park. Again, when you're talking about a larger event like the Trump rally that was at Anaheim Convention Center, that department, Anaheim, would call on multiple agencies to have small contingents of officers. When you do that, you pool them together, you have quite a few officers. I believe there were upwards of 400 officers that were actually working the Trump rally. Here, that still left us enough officers to handle all the calls for service we would have on a normal day and handle those things that would happen here if it started to get out of control. Of course, there's always a point. If it gets too large where we can't contain it, we can call on other agencies to assist. There's always officers around.
Pretty cool that everything went quiet and there were no problems.
Absolutely. You got to remember, this is part of the American process. We want to be able to support that. As a police department, we protect people's liberty, we protect people's rights, and one of our rights is the political process. So we're glad to be able to participate on this side that we don't get to do so often.
If you have any questions about today's show, you can call the Buena Park Police Department at 562-3901 or check us out on the internet at bppd.com. With Sergeant Brett Carter of the Buena Park Police Department, I'm Jane Cameron. Thanks for watching.